Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Let's take a look at some new malicious compliance stories, shall we? The first story is called Sick Leave. Many moons ago, I was a nurse working in aged care. It was a brand spanking new facility, owned by lawyers and run by clowns. In the short time that I was there, around 18 months, we had 8 or 9 managers, each wanting to put their own stamp on the way things were run. One such manager started cancelling already approved leave and implemented a rule that we had to provide a full week of notice for sick leave. What? I challenged this because, like most of us, I often don't know that I'm going to be unwell until I wake up that day. But no, the rule stays. Well, about that cancelled leave, I had booked 4 days off for my brother's wedding. Instead of haggling over it or simply not turning up, I decided to follow the rules. Exactly 1 week before the wedding, I called in with notice for sick leave. The manager asked, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I'm not sure yet." "What do you mean you're not sure? You need a reason for sick leave." "You require a week's notice, so I'm giving that to you. I'll be sure to bring in a medical certificate when I return." I had an amazing time at the wedding, had my GP sign off on sick leave as they viewed my time off as essential for my mental health. About a month later, I handed in my resignation. Funnily enough, I heard the policy was revised not long after I left. The next story is called Sure, We Will Sign In on Time. I live in a third world country, and the era when this story took place was the pre-computer era. My uncle worked in a bank, and in those days, attendances were recorded by signing in a register. Employees had to put the in and out time in the register, as well as the start and end of their shift. Now, a bank can be a very busy place. Hence, even though employees tended to reach the office on time, they would prefer to get straight to their workstations and would sign the register whenever they got a small window in their otherwise busy schedule. This worked fine for everybody, but also benefited the latecomers and early goers as well. So when management got wind of this, they published a notice stating that all employees would have to first sign the register as soon as they reached office. Well, sure thing they did. The next day there was a long line in front of the register, all the employees waiting patiently to dutifully put their signs before starting with the day's work. Everyone opened the register, slowly got to where his or her name was, signed it slowly and then closed the register. The next person did the same. A bank normally opened at 8:30 am. That day it took until 10:30 am for work to kick in full capacity. Imagine the wrath of the customers. Suffice to say, the policy did not last long. The third story is called Move Right Now. This happened many years ago. I worked delivering furniture in Chicago. On that day we pulled up at a loading zone to find a Mercedes-Benz parked there. Doesn't seem right. We parked in the street alongside the Mercedes. It would be a few more steps getting the sofa around the car, but no big deal. It should be a quick in and out delivery and we'd be on our way. We came out a few minutes later to find an irate woman screaming at us for blocking her in with our truck. She demanded we move the truck and threatened to call the police. That's when my boss told her, "Call them right now, because I am not going to move the truck until they get here." That's probably when she remembered the sign above the car that said loading zone, no parking. She suddenly turned into a completely different person. She apologized for losing her temper. She apologized for taking up the loading zone and making us work around her. She actually sounded sincere, and that was good enough for my boss. We exchanged pleasant farewells and then left for our next stop without making her call in a parking ticket on herself. The next story is called That's What I'm Paid to Do. For the last 3 years I have run sales for this company. We deliver products and services of a consultative nature. In those 3 years I have grown our business significantly and during 2020 managed to retain 90% of our clients and grow the business further, despite our consultants having a bit of a jolly and dropping the ball repeatedly. I got to know the trends, the industry, the clients and the prospects. In sales you get a feel for the ebb and flow of things, mostly because you are talking to people day in and day out. During the first lockdown I realized we could create a new source of revenue from virtual meetings, webinars and events. The boss supported the idea. The consultants felt we should give it 6 months before doing such things. I pushed back and we ran a few events, which resulted in client retention, improved communication and new business. The consultants felt and impacted how they delivered our products and services. By autumn, the consultants were too busy to do the events due to client meetings, despite their diaries being mostly empty. In short, the consultants just stopped delivering. Products due to be released in September came out days before Christmas. At one point, I had a bespoke client project deadline in November skipped, as one consultant gave me a choice: the long delayed product or the client project. As the product would potentially bring in more business, I chose the product, but neither got delivered. I worked with the client, retained them, finished and delivered the project in January. In January, I went to the boss and stated the case, suggested products, ways forward, advised what clients wanted, what was trending. Most importantly, I pointed out that one of the consultants had a conflict of interest. The boss was aware of it and said he would deal with it, but he didn't. By now, my commission is taking a hit. I am worried I can see a dry patch coming, and I know my savings will see me through it, but that is an unwanted last resort. February, no product, no sales, no commission. Internal discussions result in a small amount of pressure put on the consultants. March, we deliver a product. It bombs, almost no interest, sales are terrible, and we lose clients. The product is rushed, incomplete and well below standard, but all that mattered little as it was not relevant to the business needs of our clients. I have conversations with the boss in March, which lead to nothing. Every time we talk, I'm suggesting, give options, putting forward a case for my suggestions, nothing happens. In March, my commission is next to nothing. In April, I talk to my boss again. I have had a few conversations with him, but this one is where the malicious compliance starts. I expressed my concerns that we fail to deliver products or services that are relevant, that this is impacting the business and me personally and financially. I talk about key topics, what clients are requesting, what we should be delivering and when. I evidence their needs and give examples of our competitors delivering what we should be. In short, he tells me to keep out of it. I'm after all just a salesperson. Consultants and their names are the reason clients come to us. Specifically, I was to do nothing until they deliver the product, and then I was to sell it. That is what I'm paid to do, so that is what I did. The next day, I also get an email from a consultant telling me they will deliver a specific relevant product in May, as long as they get no further interruptions. Fine by me. April ends, no product, no sales, no commission. May ends, no product, no sales, no commission. What was said, my boss didn't even call to find out what or why. Yesterday I took a new role with a larger company. I just had enough. Coincidentally, our largest client chased us a few days prior, wanting to know why we had not delivered a project, a 20-day consulting project. The consultants doing that project are the same consultants who didn't deliver the product in May. The last story is called I Know What I'm Doing. I work for a company that gets hired to do the groundwork at large concerts. Basically, we set the gig up in the morning, then tear it back down at night. There are two things you need to know first that are relevant to the story. Firstly, this is a job that has the potential to be inherently dangerous. You are working with very heavy equipment and sometimes at a decent height off the ground. So there's always the possibility that you'll either fall off of something and do some damage, or something will fall on you and do some damage. To give you an example, one load-in we were working on, one of the trucks was packed from top to bottom, side to side and front to back with flight cases. This is dangerous since it gives the people unloading the truck no breathing space to unload. While trying to get the first case off the truck, one of my coworkers lost his balance and fell off the ramp. Luckily, I was standing in the perfect place to catch him and cushion his fall. If I hadn't have been there, he had fallen just over 5 feet and landed flat on his back on solid concrete. So, as you can imagine, health and safety are quite a big deal to our boss. We are required to wear a hard hat and steel toe-capped boots when we are working. And when we first apply for the job, we are given a sizable document on health and safety to read, and we go through a health and safety briefing before we start our first shift. Secondly, we start every shift by unloading trucks. Depending on the size of the show we are working on, we have anywhere from 5 to 30 trucks to unload. Generally, we'll start unloading the trucks, and bit by bit, some of us will be called to start assembling some freshly unloaded staging or rigging. This story involves a gentleman we will call Kevin. Kevin is an older guy, maybe in his early 60s, and started working for the company at the same time I did, although he worked similar jobs when he was my age, in the late 60s and early 70s. Kevin is a perfectly affable guy, and it's always entertaining hearing about his experiences from working back in the day. However, Kevin is a little bit lax when it comes to health and safety. He's compliant with most of our guidelines, but some things he's a little bit less compliant with. The one thing he does that annoys everyone is sending down flight cases without checking that someone is on the ramp to take the case from him. Here's a little bit of flight case etiquette. When you send a smallish flight case down a ramp, one that one person can wheel along the floor to its destination, you make sure there's one person on the ramp to grab the case. You also make sure it doesn't speed down the ramp and goes flying into the middle of the arena floor. And at least one person has to be on each side to guide the case down the ramp. These cases might be light enough that one person can wheel one across the floor solo, but they are heavy enough that it's gonna hurt if a runaway one hits your leg. Kevin doesn't do this with the smaller cases, and this annoys everyone else. We've told him several times, but it goes in one ear and out the other. In one particular show, we had 10 trucks to unload. By the time we were on truck number 9, everyone else except me, Kevin and a few others had been allocated our job setting up a part of the show. The last truck was late, it had broken down en route to the venue. After we were finished with truck number 9, we were allowed to take a break while we waited for the last truck to arrive. We confronted Kevin outside and he told us, "Stop telling me how to do my job, I know what I'm doing." So we all nodded and went to have a break. The final truck arrived not long after and we went to go and gut it. We opened the trailer doors, put the ramp in place, and Kevin and another coworker got on the truck and started unloading the cases. Our boss, John, walked over to our truck and one of us said, "Hey John, would you mind helping us unload? We are a man down." John obliged and walked up to the ramp to get the first case. Just as he stepped foot on the ramp, Kevin launched his first middle. John caught the case, then told Kevin to go with him for a chat. I jumped on the truck and took Kevin's place. We gutted the truck in about 20 minutes, then we were delegated to setting up the drum risers for the stage that we just unloaded. Kevin came back to join us and we heard later that John had given Kevin a warning and if he was ever caught breaking health and safety rules again, he'd be fired. Thanks for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, it really helps in the algorithm. Have a great day, stay safe, bye bye.